Okay, I just picked up my breakfast, so here's the second subject. Hamas. The news media has brainwashed vast majority of people to believe that Hamas is Palestine. And so when people talk about Hamas, they identify it as Palestine, so they talk about Palestine and Hamas in the same vein, right? Well, Hamas is not Palestine. Hamas was created by Israel, by Mossad and the CIA as a false flag operation. It was an Israeli creation. But everybody thinks Hamas is Palestine. Well, we gotta get those Palestinians. They've shot a bunch of people up. No, Hamas did. Not the Palestinians, but the Palestinians always get blamed for what Israel does in its false flags. And and they're trying to draw us into World War III. That's the purpose behind the whole thing. Draw us into World War III. Because now they're starting to draw Lebanon in. They're starting to draw Syria in. Pretty soon it'll be Iran. And then if Iran gets drawn in, then it's going to be Russia. And then it's going to be China. And, then it's going to be America. And here we go. They got the war they were looking for, the war that the Khazarian Mafia and the New World Order and the Rothschilds wanted. They got it. They finally got it because a bunch of ignorant Christians in the West believe that the Khazarian Mafia that's running Israel right now are ethnic Jews. And they believe that they are God's chosen people. God help us. The blood of innocent Christians in Palestine is on our hands in the West because we have a really, really messed up theology when it comes to understanding Israel. We're not listening to what the Apostle Paul had to say in Romans when it comes to Israel. We're ignorant to that. We're tone deaf to it. Because a bunch of Zionist, dispensationalist, futurist eschatology Christians have convinced us that what they're saying is right when it comes to Israel. And we base it upon one verse in Genesis. Those who bless you, I will bless. Those who curse you, I will curse, God said to Abraham. Well, guess what, folks? The people over there in Israel today that have been committing crimes against humanity for 70 years and are slaughtering women and children in Palestine today and really wants to wipe the entire Palestinian population out, convincing the Western world that that's Hamas, is guilty of war crimes. They should be brought up on war crimes in the Hague. A bunch of thieves and robbers running that country, claiming themselves to be Jews and deceiving the world. It's the greatest con game, the greatest con artist the world has ever seen. And the entire world bought into it. Well, the Western world. Western Christians bought into it. It's a shame. I'm ashamed of my fellow Christians in the West. And we need to get our theology right. And we need to stop acting like a bunch of ignorant people condoning the evil that's being committed by Israel against the Palestinians. You say, but they attacked Israel. And no, they did not. Hamas attacked Israel, the Israeli citizens. The Khazarian Mafia running the government of Israel would slaughter thousands of their own people if it would justify their ends. Did you folks not understand that? That the people running that country are criminals and they're funded by the Rothschilds? Lord help us. We better stop being ignorant. We better start getting our act together. My prayer for Israel is that they would come to Christ. And my prayer for Palestine is that they would come to Christ. And my prayer for Iran is that they would come to Christ. And my prayer for Egypt is that they would come to Christ. And my prayer for Syria is that they would come to Christ. Many Russians have already come to Christ. Many Chinese have already come to Christ. My prayer for China is that Christian officials would run their country. That Christ would become the main influence in their government. That's my prayer for China. That's where our prayers need to be. Stop saying, pray for Israel, pray for Israel, pray for Israel, and we could care less about anybody else. They could all take a bullet, but we'll pray for Israel. Get off the John Hagee. Get off the John Hagee dispensationalist Zionist train. Get off of that train and get on Paul's train, where he says in Romans 2:28 and 29, for he is not a Jew that is one outwardly, according to the outward circumcision, but he is a Jew who is one inwardly, according to the circumcision of the heart. In other words, if you're in Christ, as a believer in Christ, you are a Jew. And you are God's chosen people. That's God's chosen people. It's the church. All right. We'll leave it there.